The story opens with Maddie Ross, a 14-year-old girl with extraordinary determination. At such a young age, she decides to leave home and travel through the middle of winter to pursue the man who murdered her father. That man's name is Tom Chaney. He was once a hired hand who accompanied Maddie's father on a business trip to town. But there, Chaney squandered the money gambling and drinking. When he felt cheated in a game, he returned to the inn in a rage, took a weapon, and instead shot Maddie's father dead. He then stole his horse, took 2 gold coins from the victim's pocket, and fled. No one in town knew or cared about Maddie's father, so there was no attempt to chase the perpetrator. Chaney might have thought his crime would go unpunished. But he didn't know who he was dealing with. Maddie arrived in town not long after, and her first step was to take care of her father's remains. She asked a family servant to bring the body home so it could be properly buried. But from that moment on, Maddie decided to stay and hunt down her father's killer herself. Due to limited money, Maddie had to stay in the morgue. The caretaker allowed her to sleep there as long as she dared to sleep in the same room as 3 executed criminals awaiting burial. Though shocked at first, Maddie eventually chose to witness their execution firsthand.
Of me, because in a trifling quarrel over, I do not know what is to become of them. On the Cimarron
Him
River,
with the mustache.
my wife and children today. If you will not slight them.
The seaman out there in that crowd is...
After the execution, Maddie went to the sheriff's office to ask about her father's case. But the answer she got was deeply disappointing. The sheriff said Chaney was indeed on the wanted list, but ranked lowest due to limited resources and manpower. Meaning, there was no certainty when, or if, Chaney would ever be captured. Hearing this, Maddie refused to stay silent. She sought the help of a man named Rooster Cogburn, a lawman known for being tough and uncompromising. Rooster had a reputation as a fearless bounty hunter, earning him the nickname True Grit, someone with extraordinary guts and determination. Back in 1789, the U.S. government passed a rule requiring each town to have an independent lawman or cowboy who could be called upon if the police were overwhelmed. In such situations, men like Rooster became invaluable. After finding out where Cogburn was, Maddie went straight to meet him. She innocently approached the public restroom where Cogburn was. There, Maddie said she truly needed his help to catch Chaney. But Cogburn didn't want to be bothered and drove her away. That night, rejected by Cogburn, Maddie chose to again sleep in the morgue with the 3 executed bodies. The next morning, Maddie visited her father's business partner to collect a debt. She also demanded compensation for the horse stolen by Chaney. Maddie knew Chaney once worked for this man, and thus held him responsible. But the man refused, saying Chaney was no longer his employee. Still, Maddie didn't back down. She threatened to take the matter to court if not paid. In the end, the man had no choice but to give Maddie the money. With the money in hand, Maddie checked into the hotel her father once stayed in. There, she felt a wave of sadness seeing her father's old belongings. The next day, she returned to the courthouse to look for Cogburn. When she arrived, he was in court for a murder case. But because of his stellar reputation as a cowboy, he easily won the case and walked free. After the trial, Maddie immediately approached him and made an offer. She wanted to officially hire Cogburn for $50 if he could catch Chaney. But Cogburn refused again, not believing that a young girl like Maddie had that kind of money. The next morning, when Maddie woke up, she found a man waiting for her. When asked, the man introduced himself as LaBeouf, a Texas Ranger or cowboy tasked with hunting fugitives across Texas. LaBeouf was on a mission to capture Chaney because he had killed an official in Texas. Since Maddie's father was also a victim, LaBeouf came seeking the latest information on Chaney's whereabouts. Turns out, LaBeouf had been chasing Chaney for a long time but had yet to catch him. After hearing LaBeouf's story, instead of helping, Maddie mocked him, saying that she and Cogburn would catch Chaney first. LaBeouf remained calm despite Maddie's confidence. He even proposed they team up, but Maddie refused outright. She didn't want Chaney tried in Texas, she wanted him tried in her hometown. Frustrated, LaBeouf left.
What you come with my tame that cattle.
Not long after, Maddie went to a ranch to buy a horse. There, she spotted a beautiful black horse and decided to buy it, naming it Little Black.
He's too light. Oh no, he got a ride. So he likes apples.
Oh, Little Black.
Afterward, Maddie went to Cogburn's house. He was surprised to see her, not expecting Maddie to be serious about hiring him. Seeing her resolve, Cogburn finally agreed and asked her to come back the next morning at 7.
I'm about to embark. Dearest mother, I want me to be firm in the right.
That morning, Maddie arrived on time but didn't find Cogburn. The landlady handed her a letter from him. In the letter, Cogburn said he was going after Cheney alone and Maddie didn't need to come. He even left her a train ticket home. Reading the letter, Maddie became furious and immediately chased after Cogburn. At the riverbank, she saw Cogburn walking with LaBeouf in the distance. Apparently, Cogburn anticipated Maddie would try to follow, so he had left a message with the river guard to take her back to the local police and send her home. He assured Maddie he would catch Cheney and asked her not to interfere. But Maddie insisted on crossing the river.
Let's go, little Blackie, come on!
Once across, she accused Cogburn of running off with her money and suspected he and LaBeouf were conspiring against her. Cogburn denied this, explaining he simply didn't want a young girl caught in danger. Despite his explanation, Maddie refused to back down. Eventually, a fed-up LaBeouf slapped Maddie to silence her. Seeing this, Cogburn pitted her and stopped LaBeouf. That night, while resting, Cogburn and LaBeouf got into a petty argument that escalated into insults. Maddie tried to calm them by changing the subject. The next morning, as they prepared to continue, Maddie asked why Cogburn brought LaBeouf. It turned out LaBeouf had also hired Cogburn to catch Cheney. Maddie was furious, she didn't want Cheney taken to Texas. In the midst of the argument, LaBeouf mocked Cogburn for taking orders from a child. This led to another fight, and eventually, Cogburn canceled their partnership and drove LaBeouf away.
Our agreement's nullified.
Now only Cogburn and Maddie continued the journey. Along the way, they stopped at a shop to ask if Cheney had passed through. There, Cogburn learned that a wanted man named Ned, who he was also after, had bought supplies using one of Maddie's father's gold coins. This confirmed a link between Ned and Cheney. With renewed hope, Maddie and Cogburn followed the outlaws' trail. That night, they arrived at a suspicious house. When they called out, people inside shouted for them to leave. Sensing danger, Cogburn had Maddie cover the chimney. Smoke filled the house, forcing the people inside to come out. 2 fugitives had been hiding there. Once assured Cogburn wasn't trying to arrest them, the fugitives allowed them inside. Cogburn suspected they knew Ned and Cheney. He offered medical help to one with a gunshot leg if they told him where Cheney was. Unable to bear the pain, one man confessed Ned's group would arrive that night. But his partner disagreed, and they began to argue.
Oh, I will kill up there 2 days ago!
Having the info, Cogburn and Maddie waited outside to ambush Ned. As they waited, LaBeouf suddenly appeared. They tried warning him to hide, but it was too late.
Just took a shoot.
We have to warn him, Marshal.
Said, what does he do?
Ned and his gang arrived and a gunfight ensued.
That didn't pan out.
The next day, they resumed their journey. Along the way, Lawberf kept mocking Cogburn, saying he was too old to shoot straight. Offended, Cogburn demonstrated his accuracy.
Just one half.
There.
One more. This'll prove it. Find our way back.
When rain fell, they set up camp. That night, Cogburn admitted he wanted to give up, believing Ned had warned Cheney. Lawberf agreed and also decided to quit.
Mr. Beef, please.
The next morning, as Maddie fetched water from the river, she suddenly spotted Cheney. Trembling, she fired her gun but missed. Hearing the shot, Cogburn came, but too late. Maddie was taken hostage.
Marshal!
She was brought to a hilltop hideout with Ned's gang. Ned asked how a child like Maddie found them. Bravely, she said she came to catch her father's killer. Ned ordered Cheney to guard her while he and 3 others went to attack Cogburn. Once they left, Cheney tried to strangle Maddie with a knife. Luckily, Lawberf appeared just in time. He had secretly followed them and saw Maddie's capture. After knocking out Cheney, Lawberf and Maddie rushed to save Cogburn.
It would not be this way. Kill you in 1 minute, Ned!
I call that bold talk!
Fill your hand, you son of a bitch!
Shoot them, Mr. LaBeef.
Moving too fast.
Meanwhile, Cogburn had already taken down Ned's men but was wounded and pinned under his horse. As Ned prepared to shoot him, Lawberf arrived and shot Ned dead. Just as things seemed safe, Cheney ambushed Lawberf. Amid the chaos, Maddie fell into a pit while trying to flee.
Stand up, Tom Cheney!
Inside, she was bitten by a venomous snake on her left arm. Thankfully, Cogburn arrived just in time, pulled her out, and rushed to find a doctor. But by nightfall, they still hadn't found one. Along the way, Maddie's horse, Little Black, collapsed from exhaustion. Unable to watch it suffer, Cogburn tearfully shot it. Maddie was devastated, though she knew Cogburn did it out of mercy. With what little strength he had, Cogburn carried Maddie through the falling snow. He kept going, ignoring the cold and fatigue, focused only on saving her life. Eventually, he succeeded. From that day on, Maddie never saw Cogburn again. Years passed, and Maddie grew up. The snakebite had cost her her left arm. Today, Maddie planned to visit the town where she first met Cogburn, hoping to see him again. But upon arrival, a friend of Cogburn told her the man had passed away. Hearing that her hero was gone, Maddie was deeply saddened. To her, Cogburn wasn't just a cowboy. Rooster Cogburn was the finest cowboy she had ever known. The end. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy, hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice just to be sure. You should watch the full movie. Thank you very much for watching.